Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Carve Daily Podcast. It's another exciting episode that we can't wait to host. And we have a special guest today. And, we'll be talking about the Special Olympics and everything else that's been trending this week. And you already know that I do not come by myself. I come here with Cave Magic every single day that we do this special show that we get to bring to you every single night on Carve Africa. We are Carve Africa on all social media platforms. Cave Magic, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm 100 Kim Jojo Kiriki. It's the 1st of September. But what's happening? I don't think so, Chris. This weather is so cold. There's no time for that. So, guys, as you know, I go by the name of Kevin Keoagile Mohoni, aka Kev Magic, aka DW, aka Lenyora Wadi Gold Hair, Goku, Super Saiyan, whatever that you wanna call me. But the main thing is that it's a brand new month. We're out here, we're raising the vibrations. So my headline for this month is tune in. I'm tuning into myself. Do you understand? So that's me this month. I'm tuning in. I'm raising my vibrations. I'm bringing.
Raise your vibrations. We're all here for all of that, and we can't wait to be part of your experience in raising your vibrations. Because as you did last month, like you just being in that thoughtful space, every single thing that you did, it was just like we felt the awareness. And we saw you do, heard you do the progress of that. And we can't wait to hear what this month is going to be about and how you're going to execute that. But I'm so excited for today's show because we're talking the Special Olympics. So in South Africa and around the world, there's something that's called the Polar Plunge. And, this is an initiative for the Special Olympics that continues to create awareness, and do something within that light. And this year, the Special Olympics South Africa is bringing celebs to a specific space to make sure that they get to celebrate and be part of helping raise funds for the Special Olympics national team to be able to go through to Russia. So it's the 5th annual one. And of course, we have Melanie Ramjee in the space to finally talk to us. And it's so exciting for me to finally have my sister out in this space to just be like, yo, she always brings out people. She plugs Carve every single damn time, okay? With any kind of content that you guys get to see. She's one of like my silent mentors, just out there, just making sure that we stay plugged up. So she's a special carver and we can't wait to have this conversation with her. Hi Mel, how you doing?
Since you introduced me with the yo, what's up?
What do you do?
What's popping?
What's good, Mel?
Wow. Thanks for the awesome intro. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Mel, for agreeing to always just support Carve in any kind of way. And, whatever we're doing, Mel is just always that person who says, okay, Kat, let's do it. How do you want to do it? How can we execute it? And we are very, very, very thankful for you being that head person that continues to plug our platform to be within this space. We really appreciate that. And which is why we were like, we think you're the best person to come through today to talk to us about this Special Olympics, because we know that it's a cause that you are so passionate about, and you do that a lot. We know you do that for the feathers, you do that for the Special Olympics. So we just want to find out today, what is the Special Olympics all about, and just to create as much awareness that we can to make sure that everyone is plugged in and make sure that we give as much energy as we do to all the entertainment that you plug us with, to make sure that this is just as much of a success with everything else that you do.
Thank you. I think first and foremost, I feed off your energy. So I only give the energy off that you give me already. So thank you. I'm happy to be a cover today on your show. So back to the topic at hand. What is the Special Olympics? But thank you for all your support and for having me and giving me this platform to talk about one of my passions. Special Olympics, what is it? So just to put it out there and upfront, we recently had the Olympics in Tokyo, followed by the Paralympics. Yes. And this is very, very different from what the Special Olympics is. And I like to put that up front so people are very clear. So Paralympics is for people with physical disabilities. And even though I hate the word disability, so it's people with physical differences, I would say. And then the Special Olympics is for people with intellectual differences. So we maybe different is not the ideal word either. But Special Olympics is a global inclusion movement. We use sports, health, education, and leadership projects. And we do programs across the world. South Africa also joined the movement. It was founded in the 60s, in 1968, in the US. We celebrated our 50th anniversary recently, like 2 years back. And it's a movement that's all about inclusion. We have 5 million athletes across the globe in 170 countries. It's massive. We've got 1 million coaches and volunteers involved. I'm one of the volunteers. And it's just a great program to be involved in. And I think it's a very silent topic that people don't like to talk about because it's an intellectual, difference that some people have or some athletes. So it's hushed away a lot. And I think it's just a misunderstanding of what it is versus in comparison to the Paralympics.
And when we talk about mental, like intellectual, like what kind of, what does that include?
It includes people with Down syndrome, ADHD, any of the mental illnesses that can be categorized. That there's different spectrums of it. There's such a huge spectrum of special needs.
Yes.
And we don't exclude people who don't have special needs. We do huge programs on unified games. We're actually pitching to do the unified games in South Africa. But because we're all about inclusion, we also can't, exclude people who might be of a different spectrum in the mental illness sector or spectrum. So we're about inclusion for all. And even though we are an organization...
Sorry to just...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Mel. Kerry here.
Hi.
So I think the reason...
Nice to meet you. Meet you.
I think the reason why people tend to, try box the whole Paralympics and, what you call Special Olympics is because when you speak about special needs and all that, because I went to a special school because of my albinism. So at our special school, you'd have, different people with disabilities. I hate the word as well.
Yeah.
But obviously for
you have
people
to find a new word.
Hey? You have to
find a new word.
So in this regard, it's because there's you get slow learners, you get short-sighted. I'm visually impaired and all that, and the education system doesn't really give us a lot of support in regards to that. They don't have conversations around people with special needs. And as much as you could say that you hate saying special needs because you don't want to include exclude everybody, people and all that, we do need those needs. We need to be defined that way because it does exist, and people need to take notice of that. And the unfortunate part is that people are not really educated around it.
Exactly.
And that's why in the albinism community, we tend to, because there's some that have issues of being called day workers. And I don't have an issue because when Trevor came out with that, it was mainly to promote or, show awareness towards the albinism community. So when it comes to the Special Olympics, how do you get people to know more about the Special Olympics? Because I see there's a huge list of well-known, famous celebrities, influencers, and all that. So what's their role in the Special Olympics? Because most people, they just see them as, famous people. What do they actually know? What's the education?
Yes, I think first and foremost, how do we educate people about that? So I think we soon to clock 60,000 athletes across the country. So we well spread out. If this is just targeted at individuals with special needs, the word is out there. When it comes to celebrities, we have, I think the reason I'm here is also to talk about the Polar Plunge. Those are a list of celebrities that we get together and we engage with them about who and what the Special Olympics are. The reality is that we're not going to educate all 200 of them. A lot of them, we also welcome people's interest, so we don't force it down your throat. So we invite you, we advise you what it's about, what special needs is about. A lot of people come to us to learn more, to know more, and that's what we encourage. So we don't force it down your throat. We ask you to plunge for us. So the event that's coming up, we get people to plunge for us. So they know the very basic of what Special Olympic is. And my goal every year is, even if I get 10% of those people interested more about Special Olympics or to pursue it further post the Polar Plunge, I've achieved my goal. So we are starting very small. I think we went very big on the first year where we did try, and push it down people's throats and educate them and want to give them an induction. That clearly did not work. So we went back to the drawing board and we gave people the option of wanting to be educated. So that's where we are. And aside from that, we do have an actual ambassador program where we have people that we have targeted, approached, educated, gone through inductions, gone through programs, who are very, very involved in the Special Olympics on a day-to-day, if not week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And those are our permanent ambassadors. People who, express interest, become champions of the organization. And we don't make people sign something saying this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to deliver, but you're an ambassador of our program. So when you go out there, you represent what the program stands for. So where some people sign, sign something saying this is what I stand for, we don't require that. You have to live it every single day. So don't sit with me and, talk about you support my organization. And then tomorrow, you're calling somebody all sorts of names or excluding them from not only your organization, but your circles and talking down to people who are different from you.
Mel, please break down what the actual Polar Plunge is. If someone is trying to see it, and they're not going to be there, what does this kind of mechanic of a Polar Plunge look like?
So just like a brief, quick background. So the Special Olympics are not, in most countries, are not government funded, and each country or region is tasked to find their own sponsorship and money and do their own fundraisers. So in the US a few years ago, they came up with this thing called the Polar Plunge. And that's actually where our HQ is in the US. And they thought of this cool fundraiser, slightly different to what we do here. In the US, you pay to plunge. So, hey, Mel, you want to plunge? You're going to drop $5,000 and then you're going to plunge. So they target a lot of celebrities that also similar to what we do. They reach out to the organization or they've shown an interest, and they have the induction and the classes, and they get well educated about what the program is. And then they plunge, they make a payment, and they have, their financial situation is different from us. So they are able to donate $5,000. So that's where it started. They had the mayor involved, they had Lady Gaga, they had people like Vince Vaughn, the mayor of the US plunged. And you know what? It was the first annual one, and it kicked off and everybody loved it. And that just spread into all the states in the US. So each state started doing their own Polar Plunge. And of course, us in Africa, we were watching, with googly eyes. And I think because SA is obviously a front runner in everything Africa, we decided, 5 years ago, let's try this thing out. I had been involved in the organization, and my CEO, spoke to me about it. And I was like, my people are not going to pay. I don't think people will pay, but we will we will get celebrities who will jump for the cause. And I think we just changed it slightly to make it about awareness. So the Polar Plunge South Africa has never been about fundraising as the fundamental reason that we do it. It was more for an education drive to get the word out there. And the more celebrities you get to plunge into 10 tons of ice, the more media will sit up, listen, and ask, why are these people doing this? Who is Special Olympics? And that's what gives me joy. So this year, this is our 5th annual year. We obviously started very small in a little pool in like a school in the south. And we are now at the wonderful venue of Altitude Beach in Fourways, where it's super sexy. We've currently got 165 celebrities, well-known influencers and personalities, and some media. And I do believe Carve Africa is joining us in the plunge.
I think Keu is going to do it for us this year, Mel. Keu is going to be our representative from Carve that's going to take that plunge on our behalf.
Please, yes.
Go, Keu. You got this.
I know. I can't take that. I need the whole team to come.
Yes. Oh, no. The whole team will be there. Oh no, the whole team will definitely be there, making sure that we cover and we plunge, and we are definitely part of the course.
You guys should get tutus and have outfits and
everything. Come there looking all great in our rainbow, just like our logo. We'll make sure that we do the most. I mean, Mel, last year we know that it didn't happen, right? The Olympics didn't happen, but the athletes were like, in some kind of predicament but fortunately, through the funds that were raised, you guys managed to accumulate an amount of 80,000. And are those proceeds something that comes through from like what happens when people get to see and be more accustomed to what the brand is through like the plunge? How does that mechanic work? And has it really been an impactful thing for the athletes? And, for how long were they able to sustain and be able to continue, still being athletes within that, with just that 80K? How was that able to be spread out within them? Was it a successful thing?
So, like I said, it's never been like for the, 100% about the money. So last year was amazing. We raised the most money. And I think even though we were going through, we had just come out of a hard lockdown where people didn't have money. I think we spoke to people's hearts, and what we had conveyed, the narrative of what was last year's, storyline, or what we were, chatting to people about, was the narrative, which was people all the money raised from people's donations, corporate donations, celebrities, went to food packs. So a lot of these special Olympians or special athletes, their families didn't have food packs. So, you know what, we thought about it. We were never sure if the Olympics were going to happen this year. So there was the option of keeping that money for the Olympics this year, or actually using it for a dire need at the time. And at that time, people were starving. There was no food. People were starving all through, hard lockdown. And a lot of our ambassadors were donating money. We had some programs, but it was never enough. So when this 80K, influx of 80K came through, that was like the biggest blessing from the universe, and from all the individuals who gave it, obviously. But all that money was given to like an organization who created food packs for us, or a company, and this was distributed across Gauteng and just outside Gauteng. And it was a much needed, thing that people needed at the time.
Yes.
So it went for a great cause. 80K was the highest amount we had raised in obviously the last 4 years. It was the most. Previously we we're talking like 20-30 grand. So it's not big money.
80K is a lot.
Yeah. So 80K was really a really lot. There was a lady who donated 5 grand. And then she came to the plunged and gave another 5 grand.
Wow.
And I think because we had our athletes on site, and I think people, they saw the money was being used for a great cause. Or or what we said it was going for was a good cause. And I think the reason I'm so in love and passionate about this organization is because I actually see the fruits of, the labor. I'm on the ground to make sure the money that comes through actually gets to the people, and it has from day one. And that's what keeps me working with this organization, because it's legit, you know.
Yeah. And
What
I
we
mean,
raise
this
is
year
what
there's a
goes.
whole Russia, you know,
Yeah.
coming up for 2022. You know,
Yeah.
I just want to unpack just a bit about like what kind of like different type of sports in the medium. I don't know how to call it
Sure.
within sports. You know, within the arts, we
Sure,
just, you know,
sporting codes.
we use the word medium so many times.
Sporting
I-
codes, girl.
Sporting codes. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's all right. I'm also learning.
yes, I'm like, whoa, okay. So, you know, what's out there? What can we look forward to in seeing our athletes? And, you know, what can we do to create more awareness of those specific athletes that are participating? Because I think we put so much highlights on, you know, athletes that, you know, are performing, and that, you know, that are out in Japan and all those other platforms, and, you know, like our forefront runners, but we don't do enough to look into who our special Olympians are and what can we do to highlight more of that space, you know?
Thank you for asking. It's not unfortunate, but it's slightly different. So Russia is the Winter Games, and now we all know Africa is like super hot. So we don't really have a lot of snow, and we don't really have a lot of winter sport. So we normally send a very small contingency for the Winter Games, which we, you know, would do in general for the Olympics or the Paralympics anyway. And we do send a huge team for the Summer Games, because this is Africa and that's the sports we play, you know. So the last games that took place 3 years ago was in Abu Dhabi, and we sent out a team of over 120 people, and we came back with tons of gold, silver, and bronze medals.
Yay!
So the Russia Games coming up, we're only sending 10 athletes. This one reason being that, well, it's a team of 20, so it includes 10 athletes. I think we're working on the 2, so it might be 12. Some coaches, some supporting staff, and the athletes. So they take part in a variety of sports called ice skating, and that's really the sport that we go compete in. And that's why the team is so few. So we compete in speed skating and figure skating. One of our strongest teams in the country is our floor hockey team, who we took out to Austria a few years back in the last Winter Games. And I mean, if you think about it, if you think about Canada and the US that have ice all around them, and the level of training.
Yes.
I know. We sent a team from Limpopo and they killed those boys.
Yes, come on.
Yes.
Get it.
Limpopo. So, I mean, how they work, it is obviously we minimize injury and danger. So they don't play on an ice surface. They play on actually the ground, and I think that was our glory,
added
because
advantage. Yes,
you know, it was our advantage, because imagine you're playing in the hot streets in Limpopo on the cement.
Like,
I know, shame. We killed those boys from Canada, from the US.
Yes,
like we came out tops. We got gold, and we came home proudly with our Limpopo team. Very proudly. So that's the only unfortunate thing, is that they don't have floor hockey in the next games. So hence we're not taking out our big team from Limpopo or anywhere in South Africa, because there is normally a national games, and we suspect Limpopo would have won anyway. But yeah, so we're taking out 10 to 12 athletes. We'll be competing speed skating and figure skating. So super excited about that. I think we do focus largely on the Summer Games, because that's just our forte. And we haven't placed much focus on any winter sports, because we also do want to minimize our athletes not to get sick. And because we are vulnerable, we focus on the sports that have minimal risk.
Now, as a PR practitioner, do you think that South Africa does enough to highlight this, Special Olympics, or highlight the, disabilities within the sports and make it a top of mind kind of conversation that we get to see, even with our campaigns and, interaction with brands and, our day-to-day within the entertainment space. Like we get to so many spaces where we barely get to see a ramp or anything within those spaces. Do we think that South Africa is inclusive of that and continues to have the disability community at the top of mind? I'm sorry to say the disability community, because we've already said that this is not an okay word to use, and like even when I say it, I'm cringing, but I don't know how else to say it. But how inclusive are we as media practitioners and brands, and bringing up those conversations to make them top of mind as well with any campaign that we reach into?
Not at all. I think they are not. Yeah, we definitely, and I don't even think it's just PR. I think a lot of brands step up when they need those points, when they need to give money to SARS. They step up and they start, donating to differently abled people. There are brands that genuinely, support inclusion. Yes. Ford South Africa being one of them. They don't just talk the talk. They actually put the money where their mouth is or where the wallets are. But they've really come on board in a big way. I mentioned them because they a partner that I worked with that I not jokingly, but I mentioned it to at a car launch, saying, "Hey guys, you should get involved in this." And they were like, "Yeah, we're super keen." And I was like, "Yeah, right." And one day when I call them, they're gonna be like, "Ishmael, our budgets are elsewhere. Hey, huskies, And then Monday, I sent the proposal, which I got from my CEO over the weekend. And lo and behold, they gave us like over R1 million for the summer games.
Wow.
And then, cool. A lot of brands donate money for their SARS points and, to evade paying tax. But they weren't like that. They would call and follow up and say, "We've got this program now, post the games. Would you guys like to be involved? Can we get an athlete? Can we get some athletes, to work with us?" So there are brands that are genuinely, I think it's always the helm of the organization that makes the decision. And there are some really great brands that, they do support it. When they headhunted me, the CEO she got me on Facebook. She had been asking me for years to come and meet with her. And I was like, oh, who are these people? And then finally I went to meet with her. And it was an organization that spoke to my heart, because it's not for everybody, and we don't judge anybody, because we've had celebrities that come on board and then they realize that they actually are very disturbed working with special people, and it's fine, we don't judge you, and they leave happily, and we happy that they left. But yeah, it was just an organization that spoke to my heart, and I got involved. And I haven't left. 7 years later, they can't get rid of me. They've even put me on their board. Yes. They're like, "She's still here. What does she want?"
Of course, who wants to lose Mel, because she is the deputy chair and the ambassador of the Special Olympics, and she's really amazing, Mel. We really, really appreciate the work that you do, and we know that we're going to be out there on the 18th of September. Do you have a target? What's our target? How much are you guys looking to reach this year?
You know what? I always say it's not
really
about money.
It's not about it.
Yeah, for me, it's never been about money. If I can, I'm currently sitting on R1 million PR. If I can get to 5 million Rand PR, I've achieved my goal. Mm-hmm. I think my CEO gave me a goal last year of 150 celebrities. She's like, Mel, you've got 120 this year. Let's go for 150. And I just looked at her and I looked at the team in our board meeting and I'm like, this woman is nuts. Like, she's giving me so much of work. And I swear to God, when I sent a WhatsApp to, like, I have a list of, like, a group of celebs that I would ask this thing for, like, to get involved. And I sent it out probably to 120 people. And I probably got like 100 replying saying yes. I couldn't believe it. That just meant I had to go out and find a few more. And while trying to find the few more people contacted me. And we're sitting at 165 now. I think my job is done. I asked for a day off. And they were like, yes, yeah, right, Mel. But yeah, take the day off. Then I just did my other clients. But I'm super excited. We're probably going to get to 180 and we'll probably have to have a cutoff. I would like to raise, I mean, we're obviously never going to raise all the money to send our athletes. We have a team of 20 right now. It's 30 grand per athlete. So we're looking at a big chunk of money. If I can raise, we, all of us, because we're all in this together, if we can raise 50 grand, I'll be happy. Because you know what that can go to? That can go to uniforms or kits or sneakers, or it can buy something. And I think the honest blessing of this is that Nike reached out to us and they asked, can they donate some stuff for us? G-Star reached out to us and said they want to give us some stuff. I mean, do you know how much is a G-Star jacket, girl? It's like,
honey.
I'm like, can I be on this team, guys?
Can I just join them and be dripped up with them?
You know, just dripped up for the love.
Give me all that Nike, cause just do it, you know.
You know, we've had so many brands. I mean, we've chatted to Boogie, stylist. Boogie, my boy, we've chatted, we've engaged with her to possibly come on board as our stylist, to help us find an amazing outfit to, after the
make it look fashionable, okay?
Hey, after the latest controversy of the last games opening day, we're like, let's go to the pros. So we are engaging with her. We're also chatting to some of the fashion guys at Amen. So we're going to see how we're going to make this work, go there and bring sexy back and then win the medals and bring the medals back.
And one thing we've seen is that how mental health has been such a top of mind even at the Olympics. And so many people people who've won so many accolades within that space have decided to get to such a high point of their career and be like, I'm backing out, I'm stopping out the pressure, this and that. And how do we, I mean, this mental health topic clearly deserves us to put it at a higher space within, the socioeconomic or topics that we have within South Africa. Because we're seeing it as a global thing. And finally, it's been such a, when people talk about depression or mental illness, it's like something that's been swept under the rug so many times. And I think it affects so many people also within the entertainment industry, you know?
And I think being African, I think it's so un-African, it's so un-Black, it's so un-African to be. What is depression? I think for generations we've not taken it seriously. We're starting to take it seriously, probably not as much as we should be, not even 10%, people pay attention to. So I really I worry. I mean, I saw what happened at the Olympics. I mean, myself, all of us, it affects us. I've got a client who stresses me out so much that I feel like giving her back her deposit and, cutting my losses.
Just being like, I'm right.
She's like, she's killing my vibe and she's giving me like mental anxiety. But it affects all of us. And I think we're living in a time where it's just escalated. If you already have, anxiety and mental illness, this like what's currently happening with the pandemic, financially, you're being locked in a house with your abuser, even just being locked in your house with your husband for 24/7 for 3 months,
it's extreme sports.
It's an extreme sport. But on the real side, there are people who genuinely have mental illness and they are unbalanced. And now you're faced with your abuser for 3 months, 24/7. I just GBV and mental illness we do not take seriously in this country. I think globally we don't take it seriously. And it's just, we got to keep fighting from day to day. Every day is a struggle. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we have to believe that.
Mel, from your team, how many people do you have out there that are female, if you don't mind me asking, from those 20 athletes, what's the female representation that we get to see heading to the Special Olympics?
Let me be honest up front, I don't know all the final athletes because I haven't had preview to who it is. I can base it on the last games and it was a 50-50 split. I do know the wins were definitely 80% more the females. The ice skaters I'm talking about, because the Limpopo boys killed them, as I said. But when it came to the skating, Previously, I think we had 12 girls and about eight guys. And the girls, they brought home all the medals. I think this time it's in the team of 10 currently. I think it's 6 girls, 4 guys, 4 males. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be mistaken. And I do know we're working on the two more. And I think the problem comes in there where we had to disqualify under 18-year-olds because they can't get vaccinated, and that's obviously a huge problem, I think, globally. But we're not vaccinating under 18-year-olds, so they cannot be eligible to travel globally. Number one, we're not going to put them at risk, but number two, we just, it's illegally they won't be allowed to travel there. Yeah, so that's what we're facing.
Mel, I'm so appreciative that you came on today because we were at the Special Olympics, the Polar Plunge last year, and we saw so many people within the space. Like Mark Fish was there, Nina Hasty was there, Cooley Roberts was there, Lerato Licious was there. It's like
everybody was there.
Range of people, like it's just everybody. That's why Mel says she's
Cyprus was there,
of course, and Mark was there. Hello, over 100 people and celebrities that were just there in support of this cause, and now we can't wait to see what's going to happen on the 18th of September.
No, you don't even want to know who's there this year, but it's going to be
such a long list, but you guys should check it out on the Carve website because we'll be posting up the entire list along with this podcast. Do check us out on Carve Africa on all the social media platforms. I don't even think we should go into talking about what's happening in the entertainment space because we don't want to pull on any kind of drama because this is such a good educational space, and I think that's how we should wrap up today's show. What do you think, Mal? Do you want to get into the nitty-gritties of the entertainment drama for today? Do you?
I will. I think we need another 30 minutes, yo. We have time.
We don't even have that kind of time.
3 hours, actually.
Exactly, because it's way too much. And I really don't want to take away anything from the Special Olympics because we want to dedicate the show to make sure that people stay aware and get to listen to all the facts that are within this kind of conversation and be able to find ways to engage and interact and being able to put in and be part of the cause. Now, how do we interact? How do we, get to donate and, be part of helping raise these funds? Just give us all those details, then we call it a day.
I think we have time constraints, but very quickly, you can find us on social media, Special Olympics everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If not, call me by my name, Hypress, HYPRESS. You hit me up, I answer DMs. My WhatsApp number is there, my email address is there. I will direct you to the right places so you will ensure that you are giving to the right cause with the right address. Completely 100% legit. But definitely look us up. Holla.
That's what it is. Thank you so much. That is Melanie Ramjee, and that is how we want to call it out today. From myself, Selepe, Maifadi, you know where to get us at Carve Africa on all social media platforms. Engage, be part of it, and that's what it is. Keo, parting words? Quick.
Cool, parting words. But this was so informative, and I pray that people to listen get to learn more about the Special Olympics, get to learn more the differences between Paralympics, Special Olympics, more about mental health. Corporates, we know you have the money. Please
pull it out. Yes.
Pull it out. Guys, come on. And again, 1st of September, it's International Albinism Month. There's gonna be dope content around that. I'm gonna be having conversations around albinism as well. So be on the lookout for that. Let's have fun this month. As I said, let's raise those vibrations. Tune in, tune yourself, your spirits, your energy, and let's just kick ass and everything. That's my parting words.
Yeah, that's so dope. That's how we wrap it.